And Edith, oh wow, this woman is such a blessing. You are.
Thank you, Judah, so much, and to all of the other ladies on the panel. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Not that I'm happy that I was raped, but I'm happy to know that I'm not the only one. And for a long time, I felt like that. I felt like, well, I'm the only one that was raped and had a baby, you know, and I wanted to step back and not tell anybody about it. But as Clarissa has mentioned, I had some believing parents. I grew up in a home where Jesus Christ and his principles were taught. And so that was the only thing in my mind. I was a virgin when I was raped. I was a junior in college, and the young man didn't believe that. No way you could be a junior in college and still a virgin. I mean, as though that's just impossible. And so he just proceeded to do what he wanted to do. And I don't even remember the rape. I remember the aftermath of it. And he took me home, and then I was bloody, and it was just a horrible scene. And next thing I knew, I was pregnant. And I told my mom and dad that I was going to have this, I was pregnant with this baby. And I just knew my dad was really going to be upset, because I had two sisters who had babies out of wedlock. And then here I was, his third daughter. And but I explained to him how it happened, and he believed me. And that just blew me away. He believed me. And I went into this deep depression when I was carrying this baby, because of the way it was conceived, and I couldn't eat. I just didn't want to, I wasn't taking care of myself. My father actually sat down and spoon-fed me. He said, you're going to take care of yourself because you are having a baby. He sat on the side of my bed and spoon-fed me to make sure that I ate. And now, my mom and my dad kept me sane through that whole pregnancy. And I just bless God I thank God for those two people and their strength that they instilled in me to be strong and carry this baby. And when she was born, that was the prettiest baby in the whole wide world. She was born, and I'll tell you this, I was outside hanging up some clothes on the clothesline when I began to have the labor pains. And everybody had been telling me it's going to hurt like this, it's going to hurt like that. And I was just waiting, and it just didn't. And so, but my grandmother looked at me real funny. She said, Bree, you about to have that baby. And we went to the hospital. Clarissa almost was born in the elevator. But when she got here, that was the prettiest little black fat leg baby I had ever seen in my life. And I was telling everybody, look at my baby. I was so proud of her. And the people in the neighborhood knew that she had been conceived in rape. And they were, you should have aborted that baby. She's going to be like this. And don't you see her father every time you look at us? I don't even remember what he looks like. And I honestly don't. I don't know what he looks like. To me, this is my child. And she looks like me. She's me. And, and I've always believed that God is the only one. Man cannot give life. I don't care how much sperm he has. He cannot give life. And we know that because there are many men, many women who've had sex and not become pregnant. Man cannot give life. God is the only one who can give life. And when he gives life, he gives it with a purpose. And this is kind of like today, my church was having revival this week, and one of the speakers spoke on Luke 2. And we all know that's the story of Mary. And when the angel Gabriel came and told her that she was pregnant, I said, why does she want to preach about this Christmas story, in April? But she said it to say that every baby is precious. And we think about Mary, when she carried that baby in that day and time, she was supposed to have been stoned to death. They didn't care where the baby come from, whether it was rape or even consensual. If she was not married, she was supposed to have been stoned to death. But she carried that shame of carrying that baby, knowing that how people thought in that day. And the Holy Spirit told her that this baby is of God. This baby is of God. This baby is of God. Anything that God gives life to, it belongs to Him. And we do not have the right. We do not have the right to take a life. And even before I felt her moving in my belly, I knew that I was carrying a life and that I was going to have to bring it to fruition. And when I did feel her kicking, I got excited. I'm having a baby. I didn't say a rape baby or that man did this to me. I'm having a baby. And I began to gather baby clothes and pick out names. I was going to name it Sebastian because I was going to have this boy, you know. And I had a crush on Sebastian Cabot. Anybody remember him? I thought he was Mr. French. I thought he was just, and so I was going to name my little boy Sebastian. And my dad would say, some bastard. And I know I can't name her now. I can see the school kids teasing her. But when she came, she's Clarissa. She's named after my oldest sister, who's LeClaire. And so that's my Clarissa. And she has been more than enough for me. She stands by me, and she's my support. And you know, even when she was little, just like she said, something was not going right, she'd say, don't worry, Mama, it'll be all right. And even when she had done something wrong, don't worry, Mama, it'll be all right. It'd be all right. And she was just such a joy to bring up, and I know she was my gift from God. And right now, now that we are the same age, yes. we are more like sisters than mother and daughter. She is just such a blessing to me. She's been my help. I did marry after Clarissa was born. Clara was my flower girl in my wedding, and my first husband, adopted her. He loved her, and he knew where she come from, but he loved her enough to give her his name. He adopted her, but he has since passed on now, and I remarried. The husband I have now thinks more of Clarissa, I think, sometimes, than he does me. He loves him some Clarissa, and so and he knows her story. He knows where she comes from. He accepts her. She's his daughter, and she's a blessing. She's made us so proud of all of her accomplishments. She started out in banking when she was 10th grade. Because she was an A student, and at that time, if you were a good student, they would let you go to school in the morning, and in the afternoons, you could take a job. She took her first job when she was 10th grade, and she's still in banking. She's just been moving every 6 months. Mom, I got a promotion. You know, and I can just see God working in her. And when she told me that she was a believer, she gave her life to Christ. She gave me my first grandson. Aaron is 19 years old now. And he's 19 years old now, and I'm so proud of him. And it's just been a blessing bringing up this child. And I forget that she was conceived and raped. She was conceived. She's a child. She's a person. She lives. She breathes. She takes care of her mom. She loves her grandparents. She's a lover of people. And she does all that she can to help anybody that she can. She has a purpose in life. And I thank God that I did not listen to the naysayers. I brought this baby, this child that God made into the world. And I will never, ever, I can't think of any reason that I could ever regret that. I can think of no reason at all for anybody to abort any baby. Even I see that sometimes they'll say, well, the baby is going to have this kind of affliction, he's going to be retarded. So there are people in the world that are retarded. There are people that in the world who have different afflictions. We don't kill people because there's something wrong with it. And we just, it's just, like the preacher said last week during revival, we got to change our minds. Because now we see that God is not pleased with America. You see how things are working, storms in places where there have never been storms before, and earthquakes. He's not pleased with the laws that we are allowing to be put on our books in America. And it's just not right, and God's not pleased, and we need to change our minds. I'm glad that I didn't change my mind and that I kept my baby. I'm proud of my baby. Thank you.